What up, everybody? This is Mark from Suicide Silence.
And this is Brian Fair from Shadows Fall.
This is Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder here.
Yo, this is Gary Hall from Exodus and recently retired from Slayer. And
Hello, this is Becky Boulder from Hamburg Rebel and Fury.
Hey, this is Charlie with Anthrax. I just want to give a shout out to Pedal to the Metal Radio, the podcast.
The podcast to get all your rock and metal news plus reviews.
Keep it metal. Pedal to the Metal Radio, motherfuckers!
What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Eddie Monster, here for another edition of Pedal to the Metal Rock and Metal News Fun Size Edition. That's right. Again, I'm your host, Eddie Monster. I want to thank you all for clicking on the video, basically. I'm so used to being on radio and saying for joining me. But nonetheless, please, if you could, subscribe to the channel. We tried to create as much content as we possibly can to keep you entertained. But we would love to see you subscribe to the channel to stay tuned to everything that we're doing.
Are you not entertained?
We got a story today for you guys. Usually this would go under something else that I do, another category, something else when metal bands fight. But it's not really a fight. There's just so much drama going down in the LBC. It's kind of hard for me to sit here and kind of join forces with everybody that is trying to escalate something that just really isn't there. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about the recent one. There's been a recent rivalry, so to speak, going on between Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine, specifically Matt Heafy and Matt Tuck. Both guys phenomenal in their own right. I will say, back in the day, I was more of a Bullet for My Valentine fan than I was a Trivium fan, although Trivium over the years has surprised me, and that's why I'm a huge fan of them now as well. Every release they do has just been, it's been great. What else can we say? Nonetheless, right, it's just one of those classics. You know, it's like the bands don't really hate each other, but it's like back in the day, it was always, you know, Motley Crue versus Rat, who was the better band, Megadeth versus Metallica. I mean, there might have been some real hatred in that one. But this one, you know, Iron Maiden versus Judas Priest, both bands have respect for each other, but it's those bands are the alphas of the metal scene. That's why we talk about them. Well, in their scene, when they came out, it was Trivium versus Bullet for My Valentine. But then all of a sudden, 20 years later, we've got the Poison Ascendancy Tour, which was insane to even think of, that these two bands were going to go on tour together, and it was fucking awesome, right, to even think. And they were both performing their debut albums in their entirety. It just sounded amazing. It sounded awesome. But then all of a sudden, there was all this blow up because Trivium bassist Paolo Gregoletto, I believe is how you say his name, went on a live stream and blamed Bullet for My Valentine for ending the tour. I guess there was supposed to be like a full stretch that was supposed to happen. I don't remember how many tour dates there were supposed to really be involved in this, but apparently Bullet for My Valentine did call it a day, but both singers and guitarists, and they're respectfully, did come out and they did make statements evolving around this, and that's why I'm here to sort of squash this. It's clickbait, you know what I mean, for there to even think there is a rivalry. And I know, I get it, I'm talking about it too, so who the fuck am I to even speak about it? But nonetheless, I'm a fan of both these bands, right? So Matt Tuck, first one to release a statement, said, "Being in this band is the most important thing to the four of us. We're incredibly grateful to have been given the chance to look back at a pair of life-changing albums for us in Trivium, who we have nothing but respect and admiration for. To have a career spanning over 20-plus years is incredible achievement, and we understand all the dedication and sacrifice that comes with that. The celebration of both these albums has been a career highlight for us." He would go on to basically talk about, unfortunately, whatever, the tour having come to an end. But he did say this: with that being said, the four of us collectively feel that the time is right for us to divert our full attention towards the next chapter of Bullet for My Valentine. We can't wait to get back into the studio later this summer and finish what we promise you is our best album to date. To go along with this, we already started to make plans for the 2026-2027 touring cycles, hitting every corner. Now, before this part, he did explain that there were a few festivals I think they were doing and whatnot. But this, they said they were going to go balls to the wall. They were going to do everything. So, I mean, you kind of have to respect, the band is trying to put out the best material. They're trying to think of logically what is the next chapter for them. So, being ever the gentleman that he is, and believe me, I met Matt Heafy before, very briefly, but I did meet him before. He had this to say: the tour has been amazing. It's been truly wonderful, absolutely amazing. You've seen it in our faces. You've seen it in the photos, in the videos. There was an initial plan and plans changed. And you know us, we want to be everywhere and nonstop go, 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 and we'll happily play anytime, anywhere, any place. He would further on go on to say, and it's sometimes plans change, and sometimes that causes headaches and disagreements. And it's like anything in life. It's like a relationship. It's like with your family. It's like with your coworkers, and it's like any of that stuff. So let's pull back on all that stuff. Let's keep it classy, keep it friendly, right? He did go on to say how he has the utmost respect for all of the crew from Bullet, everyone, from the band to the crew members, everything. And like I said, Matt Heafy is a classy guy. He really is. I remember one time it was Trivium opening for like Children of Bodom. And we had gotten there just in time. A buddy of mine, he was an old buddy. He was kind of an idiot, always with time and getting to concerts. He always made us late and whatnot. Just our luck in those days. But we were sitting there, and he had just gone off stage, and we were in this weird area of the Worcester Palladium. I don't even remember. I remember it was just a staircase, but I don't know what Trivium was doing. I don't know if they were going out into the merch area to promote their merch. I'm not sure, because we wanted to just get close to the stage. So at the time, it was like this big security rush, and they kind of stopped us, and we're like, nobody move, whatever, we're coming through. And I remember Matt walking by me, and I was looking at him, and he just was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he extended his hand, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I shook his hand, and I was like, "That's pretty cool." So another reason why I've got respect for the man. But like I said, whatever the case may be, you can't blame one band for wanting to make a career decision. And Matt Heafy obviously is such a class act. He's keeping it class. He's saying, you know what, dude, things change, things happen. Love both these bands. Love metal in general. We need it, right? These guys are the bands of the future. And the future is now, by the way. Because, a lot of your favorite bands are getting old, and they're retiring, and a lot of them sort of can't do it anymore. I mean, look at Ozzy. Unfortunately, Ozzy can't do anything, and I've been hammering away at the idea of having another Ozfest, and these bands would be great to be on the main stage headlining an Ozfest. So we'll see what happens in the future with that. That's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, love both these bands. Stay tuned to both these bands. By the way, as I said before, please subscribe to the channel if you can. We try to create as much content as we possibly can for you, the fans. Keep it clean, keep it classy, keep it metal.